All right. We are here for an amazing episode of the Dad Movement. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited. We're going to learn something that I think is truly going to save lives. So today we have a very special guest. We have Kiara from the American Heart Association. And it is just a phenomenal story of kind of even how we got introduced and how this initiative got started. So Kiara, would you like to share a little bit about yourself and how this initiative got started?
Definitely. So, as Norman mentioned, I'm Kiara. I'm from the American Heart Association. I'm the community CPR manager for the Midwest. I'm located in Chicago, so it's really nice to be able to do this via, webinar. So I work to secure CPR resources to communities across the Midwest. So that means working with foundations, donors to provide CPR training, CPR education through our CPR kits. So we were able to work with the Gerber Foundation and secure a grant to provide infant CPR to residents of Muskegon Heights. So I've been working with the Fathers Matter group, and they've been awesome. And they are going to do a little bit of training today and hopefully share more training in the future so that everyone knows how to do infant CPR.
That's amazing. Yeah, here at the Dad Movement, we love anything to do with training our fathers to become better fathers and training our community. And this is something that I think is super important. As Kiara mentioned too to me earlier, of how another piece is that she got caught on to Muskegon because of how high some of our infant mortality rates were. And for someone to be 3 and some change hours away in Chicago and to see little Muskegon and to be highlighted for something like that, it's unfortunate, but then what it's going to produce and what we're going to learn from now on, I think is going to be a game changer. So I'm excited. This is something I know nothing about. I know about a little bit about adult CPR, a little rusty, more than rusty. But today I'm going to learn about infant CPR, and I'm super excited. Today coming in, I was wanted to come and act like I knew what I was talking about because I work in preschool. But there's some things I don't know. There's rumors that I heard. There's a lot of myths. So I think there's a couple questions before we get started.
Yeah, for sure.
In order to even talk to someone or to share, to have a dial and to show someone how to do infant CPR or to train them, do I have to be certified, or what is that? What are some myths that are out there about infant CPR?
Great question. So, yes, a lot of people think that, or the question is, do I need to be certified to be performing any kind of CPR? There are some limitations. So, in a nutshell, no. Unless you work in the healthcare setting or your job requires certification, the regular bystander, you do not necessarily need certification to know how to save a life. Our CPR kits, our CPR resources are meant for anyone and everyone to learn the basics. Today we'll do infant CPR, so that's CPR with breaths, and we'll show that in a little bit. But adult and child CPR, hands only CPR, that's what we teach. Community CPR, you do not need certification.
Mm.
Our mantra at the end of the day is you should do something rather than nothing. Another question that comes up is, will I hurt someone if I perform CPR? And the answer is, again, do something rather than nothing. If you break a rib, you're doing those chest compressions correctly. A person can mend from a broken rib, but a person can't mend if you do nothing and they pass away,
That's a good point.
right? And what a lot of people need to know too is that cardiac arrest, most of it happens in the home. About 80% of cardiac arrest happens in the home. And that's why we want people at home to know what to do with their infants, with their children, and just with the people that they love. So it's super important.
That helps. That helps because I know I would be thinking as a father or as a man, like, uh, I really want to try something if there's an emergency, but I don't want to hurt the baby. But you said a really good point. I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, a broken rib or anything like that, that's something that they can heal from, but I can't bring back a life if I decide to do nothing. So that really helps. That makes me more comfortable because I am a little nervous right now as I'm expecting a newborn in July, and I
Oh,
think
nice.
yeah. So I'm nervous, but we're gonna get to it, and it's gonna be a good segment, and I hope it really helps some fathers. So
Definitely. Awesome. Well, congrats. And the last thing I'll say too, another question that comes up about CPR is, will you get sued if you perform
Whoa.
CPR on someone? That's a big one, right? Well, I can tell you that all 50 states have the Good Samaritan law. And the Good Samaritan law protects you if you act reasonably and prudently by performing bystander CPR. So that protects you. And what a lot of people also need to know is that in often cases now, there's more of a liability if you don't take action. So think about that.
Mm.
Um, but again, anyone can learn these basics and anyone can save a life. So let's get to it.
all right, I'm in. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous still, but we gonna make this happen. Let's get it.
Hopefully, after you'll feel way more confident. Okay.
Right.
So we have our infant mannequins right here. I
Yep.
name mine Eddie. This is Eddie, everybody. Our infant kits come in a box like this. Real quick, comes in a box like this. You get a mannequin, you get a DVD that walks you through the training in about 20 minutes. It also includes infant choking relief. So along with CPR with breaths, comes with choking relief, a mannequin wipe, a replacement lung as well. So we're gonna use our mannequins. You got yours blown up.
Got him good.
And so we're going to go over the compressions first, what that looks like. So I'm going to adjust my camera so you can see my mannequin.
All right.
Alrighty. So we're just going to go over the compressions and what that looks like for an infant.
Okay.
And we'll talk about the steps leading up to those compressions. So you'll want to take 2 fingers, your middle and pointer, and you'll put it in the center of the chest, right in between the nipples. Pretend there's a line right there. And you'll want to press about 1 to 1.5 inches down until you hear a click. And you'll want the chest to rise after you press, after each compression. Now, the next step is, how fast do I do this? How fast am I supposed to be pressing with these compressions? So we say 100 to 120 beats per minute. We often play songs like Staying Alive or Crazy in Love. So if you have a song you want to play, we can practice these compressions for a little bit just so you get the feel of how fast you got to do it.
Okay.
So it's typically 30 compressions and then 2 breaths. Okay. So practice those compressions. You want to play a song right now, or do you?
Yeah. I got a playlist ready. So let's go ahead and let's go with the queen of R&B.
Ready? Middle, pointer, center of the chest, and. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30.
I think I'm getting the hang of it. Okay.
I'm getting it.
Hey. I think the music really helped. I think the music really got me going.
So you felt what that felt like, the rate,
the click, the 30 chest compressions, lift up, chin up, right?
Yep. So I'll talk about the breaths now. So after you've done those 30 compressions, you'll want to lift the baby's head on the forehead with one hand and with the other hand underneath the chin. You'll want to make sure your hand is not on their neck. You're trying to open up the airway. You will cover their nose and mouth with yours. There is no need to pinch the nose. Just make sure that your mouth covers the nose and mouth, and you'll do 2 breaths. and then you'll continue those chest compressions right after.
Okay.
So pretend that's 30. Deep breath. And then continue those chest compressions.
Oh, wow.
And that is literally infant.
That's it? What? I feel like I saved a life, and it was a lot simpler than what I thought it was going to be. So
Super simple.
30 of the chest compressions, 2 of the breath, tilt the head back. Don't block the neck area. Just, maybe lift the chin up, and 2 breaths.
And then you keep doing those compressions
And
until
back to the
EMS
tempo.
arrives. So now let's talk about the steps leading up to that, right?
Okay.
What else goes on should your baby become unconscious, not breathing, not responsive?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay.
You'll come across your baby. You want to make sure that they're in a flat surface area. If they're in a chair, you'd want to gently move them to a flat surface area where you can assess. You will want to tap them at the bottom of the foot and yell their name. So I name my guy Eddie. I'll be like, Eddie, are you okay?
Okay.
If no response, the first thing is calling 911. Calling 911, and if you're alone, putting them on speaker and staying on the phone until. Yeah. So if you're alone, you'll want to call 911 first and foremost. That's the first step. So assess the area. Your baby's not responding, not awake, not breathing. Call 911. Give them an exact location. Put them on speaker, and start those chest compressions.
Okay.
Pretend that was 30. 2 breaths. And you must do these chest compressions and breaths until EMS arrives. Okay? So it takes EMS, depending where you live, 5 to 8 minutes to arrive, right? So think about that. You'll have to do the chest compressions and the breaths until EMS arrives. So you want to go through all the motions with me?
I would love to. I feel encouraged. I feel like I got it. So first, let's just say hypothetically, I have my baby sitting in a chair. That's not gonna cut it. I gotta pick up, set him on a flat surface. Check on Norm Jr. Norm Jr. Norm Jr. Norm Jr.
No response.
No response.
You get that phone and you call 911.
911.
You tell them exactly where you are. You remain on the phone, but then you start those chest compressions and breath.
Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
I lost count, but let's pretend that was 30.
Okay.
And then
All right. Listen.
Did my 2. Back to my chest compressions. Back. In between.
and you do that as soon as your child is unresponsive. You begin the chest compressions with the breaths.
Okay. Okay.
And that's infant CPR.
And that's infant CPR added to the resume. Wow. This could really save a life. And I did not know it was going to be this simple, knowing that we had to do it, through a platform on the internet. I was just wondering that. I was like, I don't know. I'm not the smartest tool in the tool shed, but if I can do it, I know everyone out there can do it. And I really believe that this is going to save a life by being able to do this. I really do.
Likewise, I'm glad you were so willing to learn. And again, anyone can learn this. So I'm trying to think of other questions that come up when I do trainings. But again, always remember if I get questions like, well, what if the baby's bleeding? What if their neck is broken?
Yeah.
Remember, the first step is calling 911.
Yeah.
So if your infant is unconscious, hurt, call 911 first and foremost. If they are not breathing, not responsive, you begin those chest compressions and those breaths until EMS arrives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And 2, I have a question. If, let's say, it's me and my wife is at home and it's 2 of us and I'm doing the chest compressions and I'm, let's say my fingers are getting tired, can I have someone tap in and take over? I can. Okay.
So what that looks like, if you're not alone, you notice your baby's unresponsive, you tell one person, you call 911. Say it like you mean it.
Yeah.
And then if there's someone else, say, you watch what I'm doing. And you do the chest compressions and the breaths. And whenever you get tired, you can switch. You want to omit any interruptions to the chest compressions and breaths as much as possible because you're trying to get blood back into pumping through the body, most importantly to the brain, right? Blood and oxygen. So the less interruptions, the better survival rate. We know that performing any kind of CPR, even if you're like, what if I'm doing this wrong? I don't know if I'm doing it right. Any kind of CPR will double or triple the chances of.
Wow.
Okay. So any CPR is better than no CPR. Can't stress it enough.
I like that. This really helped. Kiara, I think you were a phenomenal teacher. And I think even in doing this, I now have a responsibility to talk to other fathers about this and to share this with family members on how to do this. So I'm going to make it my responsibility for my community and for my family to share this message. And I think those who are listening, we have an opportunity for you guys to also receive some of the infant CPR dials to practice, to train, so that we can, as a village, take care of the infants in our community better.
I love that. That's truly the goal. We just want more people to know CPR because we also know that communities of color are less likely to receive bystander CPR and less likely to receive this education. So, when I came across the infant mortality stats in Muskegon Heights, I thought I have to do everything in my power to get you guys some resources and just get the word out. So, truly grateful for Fathers Matter. You guys are spreading the word. You guys are putting in the work. I really appreciate it. I think this is going to be great, and I hope everyone watching can see that it's not rocket science. And again, anyone can do this.
All right. Well, thank you, Kiara. Thank the American Heart Association. Great cause, and we look forward to checking in down the road with more good news, more people trained, and more families informed. So thank you, and have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Man, the dad movement. This was an interesting topic. It was something, being honest, as a father, when the American Heart Association reached out, I was like, yeah, it sounds like something, but I'm being honest, I just thought maybe dads didn't want to listen to it. I thought it wasn't as entertaining. But then when I started seeing the numbers about the infant mortality rates for our county, it left us no choice, man. We got to be better. We have to learn. We have to be informed. And this is going to be a great opportunity for not only for us fathers to learn how to conduct infant CPR, but to teach our families and to teach our children, because I think every person we train is another baby that has an opportunity to be saved, or to eliminate the opportunity for the high infant death numbers, to cut down these numbers. I think that has to be a priority for our county. And as the dad movement, this is something that we have to be committed to. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Like, share, subscribe. And if you would like one of these infant CPR dials to do the training, feel free to reach out. We're going to post a flyer with the information so we can get one for you and your household so that you can be trained and train those in your community. All right, it's Norm. It's the dad movement. Take care, guys.